PA 58 part 5 SSL Client Cert certificate generator using this REST API. So this is again, this is not the get. Now we are going for the post and we'll just take some examples. So this is the first example we are taking, and here we are trying to call the PingFed REST API to generate the SSL client certificate. So in the PingFed you see, right, if I can show you, let's go to security and then you have SSL server certificates, right? So let's open that. Yeah, so this is the one I think, and so in similar way we'll just try to, and I think SSL client we have, yeah, we have one like SSL client keys and certificates, maybe I created during testing. So we'll just try to create this certificate SSL client key and certificates using the REST API, and this is the post call because we are adding something to the server here. So we have a JSON body where we need to pass all this parameter which can create a certificate. Okay, so let's understand the code. Just we need to concentrate mainly on the JSON body. Other things will be same, but yeah, let's have a look on that. So yeah, define the package name. Then we have imported the SSL TLS classes for handling secure connections. Then import the buffer reader for reading text from an input stream. Then we have imported output stream for sending data to the server. Then import input stream for converting byte streams to the character stream. So this is something we are not doing in the get. Okay. Then we have imported HTTP URL connection for handling HTTP connections. Then we have imported URL class for URL handling. And then we have imported X509 certificate for handling certificates. Then imported base64 for encoding credentials. Okay. So, and then just defining the public class. Okay. And then just, yeah, like API endpoint URL for generating certificates, the same thing, right? Like, how we are defining in the get. So just define the API underscore URL. This is the API for the SSL client certificate generator, and here we have the username password for authentication part, and then main method to execute the program, and just define in the try cache. So we can define just for the error handling, and then we can define the we're just going to bypass the certificate validation. So same code is going to come here. Okay, leave this part. Then create a URL object with the API endpoint. So this is fine, you already know this part, so leave this. Set the request method to post. Now we are going for the post. Okay, so earlier we are using get. So this is something we added new in the post, just instead of get. In the headers part we are adding XXRF and the accept application JSON. So here what we are trying to add one more, that is set the content type header to JSON. So we are just adding another header, that is content type, and the value is application/JSON. Okay, so this is something we added because we are trying to add some content here, right, in the code. So just for that purpose we added this head in the header. Then just setting up the HTTP basic authentication, leave this part. Now so now you need to enable the input or output streams for post request. So for that, what you need to do, after header and after the authentication, you can just connection.set do output, the bracket tool. So just by this, what you can do, you can enable the output stream for sending request body that you are going to send in this post call. Okay, now like you just need to create the JSON payload, and just that's what I'm talking. This payload will just vary based on the call. So right now we are trying to generate SSL client certificate. When we are trying to create a SAML connection or client or any other thing, based on that JSON body will change, but you need to know how to write a JSON request, right? So just in this similar fashion, you can just define a string JSON payload, and in the bracket you just need to just put the bracket correctly, otherwise that JSON format will be incorrect. So just put the brackets properly, and then you can define all whatever the parameters we have in the JSON. So here we have the ID, right, JSON field for ID. Then we have the JSON field for common name, subject alternative name, like all those parameters we have. So as if you are going manually also to PingFed, right, and trying to generate SSL client certificate, it will ask all the values from you, that ID value, common name value, subject alternative value. Then you have the organization unit, then city, state, like those all values it will ask with the expiry of the certificate, then key algorithm, size bit, right? So signature algorithm. So all these things it will ask from you, and then it will create a certificate. So in the similar way, we need to pass this all in the JSON body in Java code. Once this is done, then what we need to do, we just need to send the JSON payload. Okay, so first we have created the JSON body, okay, based on our request. Right now we are going for the SSL client certificate creation. So this is a JSON payload, and then we need to go to send the JSON payload. So how to do this? Like just use this lines, like create the output string to send the request body, and then convert the JSON payload to the bytes, and then you can write the bytes to the output string. Okay. So basically this is the way through which you can send the JSON payload. Once this is done, then get the response code from the server. Again, is the same thing, right? In our previous examples, in the get call also, we are just trying to we are just printing the response code, right, of that particular the API call happened. So whatever the response code, right, it's a 200 or yeah. Okay, and then like read the response from the input stream. So here we just added one more thing here. We are not adding in the get. So here we have just put the condition like. So what is the condition here? So if the response code, if I am getting the, let's say 400, because of what I'm putting here, in the if condition, you can see response code greater than equals to HTTP URL connection dot HTTP bad request. So this is nothing but a static, what you can say, a constant integer value, right, for the error part. So it will just give you the 400. So if the response code is greater than or equals to 400, then in that case, it will come in the if condition. That means we are just trying to print the error response, right? So basically, yeah, it will just do the same thing, create a buffer reader to read the error. It will just perform the same thing, but yeah, here we are trying to print the error response. Okay, so create the buffer reader to read the error input stream, then use the string builder to accumulate the error response lines, and then read the line of the error response, append the line, and then you can just close the buffer reader and print the error response if the response code is equals to or greater than 400. But if your response is not that, right, so in that case you have the successful response. So in that, again, you can come in the else condition, and here we have defined that create the buffer reader to read the input stream, the string, then string to hold each line of the response, then use the string builder to accumulate the response lines, then just read each line of the response, right, if we have the response as a 10 lines, whatever, right, so read each line of the response, append the line to the string builder, right, that is, you can just append all the lines, all the response line to the string builder, and then you can close the buffer reader, and then you can print the response. This is a successful response, and in the above one we have the error response. So here we have just put the condition as per the response code we are getting. Okay, and then yeah, define the exception, the error handling thing. Okay, so in this case, like it's just like the same thing, just you need to know how to use this, how to create the JSON payload, how to send the JSON payload, right? These are the two important things you need to know, and once you have understanding, you can go for any of the post call now. But this JSON payload is not very simple as it looks here. Like for SSL client certificate, just like we have like few details and we add it and that's all. But when you're going for something like I can say OAuth client creation or SAML creation, so there you need to define multiple things, right? Because you can see, right, whenever you're creating a SAML connection in Ping, it asks multiple things to you. So all those things has to be embedded in your code so that you can just automate the application onboarding using this. Okay. And this is like used in many of the industries nowadays. Like if you see, like all the companies have their own self-service portal and they're just utilizing these REST APIs, let's say for SAML creation, and then using that they are just creating the SAML connection. So if you can just go to the API docs, you can see that. I'll show you. So let's go to IDP-SP connection for an example. Where is that? Or let's go to OAuth clients. Okay. So you can see the first one is get the list of OAuth clients, and second one is create the OAuth clients, a new. So it's a post call, right? Let's open this. So here you can see that, yeah. So this is like a kind of payload, JSON payload, right? So basically, like once we can click on try it out, it can ask few things from us. Like let's click on execute. One second. Yeah, so I think like it has created something as a default or what. Let me see what it has created. Yeah, this is our API, like v1 OAuth client, but yeah, maybe it's giving 422 for now because yeah, we haven't passed any parameters correctly. But yeah, this is a JSON payload. This is a way, like the code will be the same what we are trying in our Java, but yeah, the JSON payload will change, and you can just try and test that. Copy the JSON payload from here, try to embed in your code, just write all the parameters correctly, and then you can test. Okay, and then you can just able to automate your application onboarding, and you can create using the REST API. Okay, so this is the one thing, like yeah, I think it has given the complete details here, but you can just grab the JSON payload. Yeah, this is using curl here. Okay, let's jump to the Eclipse now. And let's test this SSL client certificate. So let's go to the code is same, like I'm just going to the JSON payload, and I'll update some details here, like let's say ID is like SSL client new something. Common name also I'll put same thing, SSL client new. Subject alternative name same thing, SSL client new. Then like organization will be I am learning something. Okay, training organization unit will be training, leave that. City you can put something like, let me put my hometown. Okay, and then put a state like, okay, country India, validity days will be 365 you can put, or you can just extend this also. Key algorithm is RSA, key size is 2048 bits, and the signature algorithm is SAR 256 with RSA. Okay, now let's try to hit, and let's see it's creating or not. Let me click on run, proceed. Okay, so we got the response code is a 201, and I see that we have the response as it's basically created, right? So let's go to ping federate and have a look that whether, let me refresh the page. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, this is the so our new certificate is there. SSL client certificate is created using the text API, and you have the alias, serial number, right? Subject DN, subject alternative names, issuer DN, valid from, valid till, right? Signature algorithm version. So all those things are came, right? So this is the way like you can use and create the SSL client certificate. This is one of the example of the post call. In similar way, we can try different things in the ping federate, right? So this is one of the example, and you can just take 2-3 more examples. And so it will give you a very good idea how you can code, how can you can use this post call through the Java or any other programs, and you can just automate the things. Okay, I hope you understand this. If you have any questions, please put in the comment section, and let's jump to the next one. Thank you.